Interstate 42. Okay then. Alright everyone, today we're going to be talking about the brand new Interstate 42. Interstate 42 is the newest interstate in the system, as currently exists in two separate segments, but will eventually connect the city of Raleigh all the way down to Morehead City / the Emerald Coast area. It will mainly follow the US 70 corridor between these two cities, so you can think of this as a US 70 Part 3 video. Also, Interstate 42 is one of the new interstates that kinda makes sense with its numbering, unlike Interstate 87, as it mainly goes east to west and is actually north of Interstate 40. So let's take a look at this brand new interstate and see how well NCDOT signs it. But first, you're watching the TheDerpHog, where I make highways content on all sorts of different topics. If you've been enjoying it, be sure to hit that like button. And if you've been really enjoying it, be sure to smash that subscribe button so you're notified on all future videos. And if you really want to help out the channel, become a member today, where you get custom cool emojis, early access to future videos, along with one free Azure request per month. And if you don't want to become a member, you can always just pay $3 for a intersection request in future videos. Those highways will be listed down in the description below, and I'll make sure to shout you out when that video releases. So let's get on with the highway. As you can see here, this is the current map of Interstate 42, as it'll eventually run from a junction with Interstate 40 just south of Raleigh all the way down to a junction with US Highway 70 east of Morehead City. So with that, we're going eastbound on Interstate 42. So we actually begin here on Interstate 40 itself, where we can see that US 70 used to be concurrent with Interstate 40 here, was rerouted onto the road that'll lead you to Clayton, while Interstate 40 now gets a 242 shield for Benson and Smithfield. I mean, Smithfield is an okay choice for 42, but it is not the best choice, but that Benson should definitely be replaced with Wilmington. No need for Benson being signed on Interstate's NCDOT. Why are you starting off this video terribly? But a little ways up the road, when Interstate 42 officially begins at exit 309 here, we can see that 42 is being signed east for Smithfield and Goldsboro, which Goldsboro is an awesome choice because it is a decently sized city in eastern North Carolina, and it has a military base there. And once we get onto Interstate 42 itself, we do get a reassurance shield, so that is awesome. Also, these first few pictures are provided by me because I did get a chance to go onto this interstate last year when it was first signed, so that was pretty cool. And here we get a mileage sign with Goldsboro being our primary from 39 miles away. And our first official exit is for North Carolina Highway 36, which used to be signed for Clayton and Fuquay, but they replaced it with Veterans Parkway. Also, this was North Carolina Highway 42, but NCDOT decided to renumber the section of North Carolina 42 to 36, so they thought that people would not confuse North Carolina 42 with Interstate 42. But that is so ironic because we have US 74 and Interstate 74 in the same state. So it wouldn't matter if we had North Carolina 42 and Interstate 42 concurrent. Also, the number 36 was a planned number for Interstate 42, but NCDOT ultimately decided against it and signed 42 instead of 36. But North Carolina Highway 36 eastbound does join up with us, so we do have a couple of reassurance shields for those two highways. And this is where North Carolina 36 splits off to head back towards North Carolina Highway 42, and we can see it's just getting signed east for Ranch Road. And if we take a look on this exit, we can see that we're now getting the secondaries of Smithfield and Gardner instead of Raleigh and Goldsboro respectively. And this is the official ending to the first section of Interstate 42 at the US 70 business exit here. And then a ways up the road, where US 70 is going to be heading into Selma and Smithfield, while Interstate 42 is actually going to be following the 70 bypass here, getting signed east for Goldsboro. And here we get my own picture of a mileage sign with Kinston now as our primary from 51 miles away. And this is we're going to be roughly meeting Interstate 95 here. It'll probably get very terrible control cities because that's how NCDOT works. And here we meet with US 70 Business once again before we merge back into 70 proper. And once we merge back onto 70 proper here, we get 2 mileage signs. We get New Bern with a primary from 80 miles away on 1 mileage sign, but we can see in the distance that we get another mileage sign with Goldsboro being the primary from only 19 miles away. I hate it when states do that. Just have 1 mileage sign or do a 4-liner because 4-line mileage signs are pretty rare to see. No need for 2 separate mileage signs. This is the official start to the other section of the current open portion of Interstate 42, as this is the Goldsboro bypass being signed for Kinston and New Bern respectively. And at random interchanges on this section of Interstate 42, we can see that it's being signed for Raleigh and Kinston. So they can sign Raleigh on this portion of Interstate 42, but they couldn't sign it on the first section. Come on, man. Here we meet with Interstate 795, and for some random reason it is not an overhead sign. It's just a sign on to the side of the road. Here we meet with US Highway 117 proper, which will take you into downtown Goldsboro, while northbound will take you up towards Wilson, and as it mainly parallels Interstate 795. And here we get another mileage sign with New Bern still as our primary from 62 miles away. Here we meet with US Highway 13 being signed for Goldsboro and Greenville respectively. Also, I will be doing US Highway 13 in the summer, so stay tuned for that. It is a pretty cool highway. And this is where the current section of Interstate 42 ends, as we're going to be merging back into US Highway 70 as we head towards Kinston and New Bern still. Here we have the exit for North Carolina Highway 903, which for some reason is the 4th longest state highway in the state. Here's in the Kinston area, we're meeting with North Carolina Highway 148 here, and this is where roughly the Kinston bypass will be starting, but since it's not currently built yet, we're just going to be still following US 70 as we head through town here. And here's where we're meeting with North Carolina Highway 55 and North Carolina Highway 11. I'm pretty sure that Interstate 42 will be meeting these 2 highways a ways south of here. And here we get a mileage sign with Morehead City being our primary from 70 miles away, so that is awesome. I wonder if they're going to replicate that on the Kinston bypass. Here we meet with North Carolina Highway 58 and US Highway 258, and these 2 highways will probably be something that Interstate 42 will meet south of the city. And then a little ways up the road, we're now meeting with US Highway 17, which is being signed south for not the Jacksonville, but Jacksonville, North Carolina. No, that should be Wilmington. Sign Wilmington, NCDOT. Yes, I get Jacksonville is another military city, but Wilmington is your largest port city. Sign Wilmington. Here is where Interstate 42/US 70 will split off from North Carolina Highway 17, as it's being signed for Washington, which I think is a fine choice going northbound, but definitely not southbound on 17. And we can see that 70 is being sent east for Havelock and Morehead City. And skipping ahead a little bit, we can see that North Carolina has already started working on the Havelock bypass, but they still need a long ways to go because it eventually will run from Havelock all the way east to Morehead City. But right now we're going to be following US Highway 70 into the city of Morehead City. And here is the eastern terminus of North Carolina Highway 42. I doubt NCDOT is going to extend it all the way up to Interstate 42, but this is where its eastern terminus is right now, as it's being signed for Cape Quartet. Here's the road that will take you over to North Carolina Highway 58, and we can see it's being signed for Atlantic Beach and Fort Macon, as 70 right now is being signed east for Beaufort. Here we are meeting with North Carolina Highway 101 getting signed for Havelock one direction, and we're now getting signed east for Atlantic. And this is where Interstate 42 will roughly end, just east of this intersection. So with that, we're going to be turning around and doing westbound Interstate 42. So we're going to begin here with North Carolina Highway 101 once again, as this section of the half-block bypass is not open right now, or hasn't even been built yet. And here we get our first mileage time with New Bern being our primary from 40 miles away. I do like seeing that. And here we meet with North Carolina Highway 24 once again, and we're not getting signed for Newport. I mean, sure, this is going to be still US Highway 70, but I better not see this signage on Interstate 42 proper NCDOT. Here we get another mileage time with New Bern still being our primary from 29 miles away. And this is all the way up the road, and we can see now Kinston is our primary from 52 miles away here in the Newport area. And then skipping ahead, we can see that we're now going to be joining with US Highway 17 once again, being signed for Bayboro and Washington. And this is where US 17 will be splitting off from Interstate 42/US 70 to head south towards Jacksonville and Wilmington, with the latter not being signed for some reason. And at random interchanges here on this portion of Interstate 42/US 70, we can see that we're getting signed for Kinston going this direction. I would prefer to see maybe Raleigh, but Kinston is still okay for US 70. And we can see our next mileage time, we now get Goldsboro as our primary from 49 miles away. And skipping ahead to the Kinston area, and this is still on 70, we can see that we're meeting with North Carolina Highway 58 here, which is probably one of the highways that Interstate 42 will be meeting south of here. Interstate 42 will probably also be meeting with US Highway 258 south of this interchange on the Kinston bypass. And here we get a mileage time with Raleigh being our primary from 78 miles away. And I gave this a rare NC.W in the actual US 70 video, which you can check out in the top right corner here. I better see this kind of signage on Interstate 42 NC.DOT. Here is where US 258 splits off from current US 70, as 70 is now getting signed for Goldsboro and Raleigh. Here we meet with North Carolina Highway 148 once again, and this is where the Kinston bypass will roughly end, and we'll hop back onto 70 proper. And this is where US 70 will leave Interstate 42, and it looks like that there is signage for this direction of Interstate 42, so that is awesome. And we can see that Raleigh is being signed, so yay! Here we get another mileage time with Raleigh being from 66 miles away. Here we meet with US Highway 13 once again, getting signed for the same control cities that we saw going eastbound. Here we meet with US Highway 117, and going this direction we do have an overhead pull through for Interstate 795. I don't know why they don't have one for eastbound Interstate 42. And here's that said junction with Interstate 795, getting signed for Wilson and Goldsboro and Wilmington respectively. So if they can sign Wilmington on 795, but then they should sign on Interstate 40 and US 17. And this is where the Goldsboro bypass portion of Interstate 42 currently ends, as US 70 is merging back into itself here. And skipping ahead to the Smithfield bypass, we can see that US 70 will be heading into Selma and Smithfield and over to US 301 and 39, while we're going to be staying on the bypass here as we're getting signed west for Raleigh. And this is where we're roughly meeting with Interstate 95 once again, and for kicks I decided to make myself what the signs will look like in the future, and it'll probably look terribly like this, which I do not like at all. And this is where the Smithfield bypass ends, as this is where US 70 is merging back onto itself. And here we meet future exit 13 and 14 here, as current exit 330 and 329. And here we get a nice little sign on US 70 telling us if you want to get to Gardner and Raleigh, you stay straight on Interstate 42 westbound here, instead of taking the exit 470. And here is where 70 splits off from Interstate 42, as it's getting signed west for Clayton. And here we reunite with North Carolina Highway 36, being signed for Ranch Road. And here's where North Carolina 36 splits off from Interstate 42 to get signed west for Veterans Parkway. And here we get a one last mileage sign with Raleigh being our primary from 14 miles away. I mean, it kind of makes sense, but if you do want to sign something on Interstate 40, I wouldn't mind seeing a three-liner here with Durham being our primary. But still, this is an okay mileage sign. And then we eventually end here at the junction with Interstate 40 and North Carolina Highway 540, as they are signing Wilmington for 40 here, and 40 West will take you towards Raleigh. But I do not like that Kentucky treatment for 540. They're just wanting to sign the Triangle Expressway. No. And if you follow the 40 westbound ramp, you do get a 42 end shield. So that is awesome to see that North Carolina is already planning ahead with the end shields. So with that, we end Interstate 42 and we move on to the way it should be. So these are all the places that I think should be signed on Interstate 42. To start off eastbound, I do Goldsboro, then New Bern, then Morehead City. Then one could argue they can sign nothing after Morehead City, but I would like to see maybe the Outer Banks, because the Outer Banks is a very popular region, and it's better than Atlantic because Atlantic is a very tiny town that US 70 goes through, and I want to see that on Interstate 42. And then for 42 westbound, just Raleigh. It's plain and simple because Raleigh is a very big city and is the state capital and is the biggest thing on the entirety of Interstate 42. So just straight up Raleigh for westbound. And that ends Interstate 42. Thank y'all so much for watching this analysis on Interstate 42. I hope you got to learn a little bit more about this highway, and I hope in the future that NCDOT will correctly sign stuff on this brand new interstate. But as of right now, it's a complete and total mess. So with that, here are my next few highways. If you have any intersection requests for any of these upcoming highways, please let me know down in the comment section below, and I'll make sure to shout you out once these highways release. And for the US Highway March Madness tournament results, I will be sharing that in April, so when that highway is released, I'll let y'all guys know. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see y'all next week as we do the real Interstate 74. Bye!